This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Some St. Thomas roads being affected by landslides and flooding. The St. Thomas police are advising motorists to proceed with caution as several roads in the parish continue to be impacted by the inclement weather. Heavy rains have caused landslides, rendering some roads impassable. Rivers overflowing their banks have also blocked some roads. The affected roads include the Mahoganyville Ford, which is impassable at the Yallas River, the Mahoganyville to Hagley Gap Main Road, which is blocked by landslides, and the Hagley Gap to Nestcastle Main Road, which is blocked at the White River. Also affected are the Richmond to Albion Mountain Main Road, which is blocked by a landslide, and the Mount Pelier to Logwood Main Road via Phillips Field, which is impassable at the Mount Decot River. Major landslide on Winston Jones Highway. The police are reporting that there is a major landslide on the Winston Jones Highway below Hanbury Road and Russell Place in Mandeville, Manchester. The alternative route is through Royal Flat. The National Works Agency has deployed heavy equipment to the area. Cops name Livity Coke at top of persons of interest list in West Kingston. The Kingston Western Police have listed Leighton Livity Coke, the brother of incarcerated drug kingpin Dudus, as one of the 13 persons of interest who should turn over themselves to the authorities for questioning in the next 24 hours. Investigators believe that the men can assist them with their probe into several incidents of murders and shootings that have been committed in the division recently. The men are therefore being asked to contact the Denhamtown Police by 4 p.m. on Saturday, August 28, the police said in a release. The other persons on the list are Philip Brown, otherwise called Phil, Lawrence Stewart, otherwise called Richie Stone, Dwayne Grant, otherwise called Billy, Rasheen Samuels, otherwise called Sonson, Devon Sullivan, otherwise called Coffee, Marlon Hall, otherwise called Tupac, Romaine Carter, otherwise called Stu Pease, Akeem Bailey, otherwise called Lollipop, a man known only as Rory, a man known only as Ready Up, a man known only as Straight Up, a man known only as Color, and a man known only as Little Man. In addition, anyone with information that can assist the police to locate these persons is encouraged to contact the Denhamtown Police at 876-948-6443. Persons can also call Crime Stop at 311 or the police 119 emergency number. Mankilton Plaza shooting was targeted, said the police. Reliable police sources have informed the news that a man who was shot fatally in Springs Plaza on Compton Spring Road in St. Andrew on Friday hails from an Ambrook Lane address in St. Andrew. The man killed is from Ambrook Lane. It was a targeted hit. They went for him and executed him. 2 others were shot, a police insider said. The incident occurred just after 12 noon Friday. 3 people were shot, with 1 person succumbing to his injuries in what was initially believed to be an attempted robbery. The man killed has not yet been identified. Man in custody after firearm seizure in St. Andrew. A man has been arrested in relation to the seizure of a firearm and several rounds of ammunition on Tavern Avenue in St. Andrew on Thursday, August 26. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that lawmen conducted an operation in the area about 2:30 p.m. when a man was seen acting in a manner that aroused their suspicions. The man was accosted and searched, and a Beretta 9mm pistol with a magazine affixed containing 8 9mm rounds of ammunition was taken from him. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. PNP rep calls on government to cancel upcoming no-movement days after Ida. People's National Party Council caretaker for the Frankville Division of Northwest Clarendon, Karen Carty, is calling on Prime Minister Andrew Holness to rescind the upcoming no-movement days to allow persons to recover from the passage of Tropical Storm Ida. The storm has dumped heavy rainfall across sections of the island, including Clarendon, which saw major flooding, land slippage, and entire communities being cut off. Carty, whose community of Southwood is also cut off due to the overflow in Rio Minho, is concerned that persons will not be able to recover properly from the effects of the tropical storm before entering 3 consecutive days of lockdown beginning Saturday evening. The tropical storm, based on the weather reports, is expected to move away from the island this weekend. We cannot then enter into a state of complete lockdown. This will hamper any attempt by residents to pick up the pieces of their lives, she said in a press release on Friday. Carty pointed out that some persons were still being affected by the recent passage of Tropical Storm Grace when they went into last weekend's lockdown. Even here in Southwood before Ida, we were experiencing power outages resulting from Grace, she noted. Many persons went into last weekend's lockdown without food, medicine, or other basic items. We basically had one day to get what we needed because the effects of Ida started Wednesday evening with heavy rains and strong winds, and the situation has been like that continuously. The PNP standard bearer in the division said she has been receiving widespread reports of devastation across her division and pointed out that it would be doubly devastating for the residents should they endure another multiple days of lockdown. Overwhelmed with COVID patients, public hospitals only accepting emergency cases. Effective immediately, public hospitals island-wide will be restricted to conducting emergency case services only, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This comes as the public health facilities register continued increases in confirmed and suspected cases of COVID-19 infections that require hospitalizations, which have caused the facilities to exceed their isolation capacity. Commenting on the crisis in a statement from the ministry, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisasor-McKenzie said most hospitals are over the capacity of beds designated for COVID-19 management. As such, general hospital beds are being used for COVID-19 care. The rising demand for oxygen also threatens to overwhelm the supply. The ministry said hospitals will also suspend elective surgeries and begin discharging patients who can receive home care. Meanwhile, members of the public are being asked to refrain from visiting emergency departments except in cases warranting serious medical attention. We encourage persons to be compliant with their medications and to avoid being on the roads to avoid traffic accidents, as hospitals will be constrained to deal with these kinds of emergencies, the CMO continued. Up to Thursday, August 26, a record 739 positive COVID-19 patients were in hospital, of which 189 were moderately ill, 92 severely ill, and 61 critically ill. There were another 320 patients suspected to have COVID-19 under hospital care. The ministry continues to encourage Jamaicans to get vaccinated and follow the infection prevention and control measures. 18-year-old killed, 2 injured in Clarendon crash. An 18-year-old was killed and 2 others injured in a crash in Mineral Heights in Clarendon on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as Jerick Williams of Exora Close, Kingston 8. The police said that about 3 p.m., a Toyota Tacoma motor truck was traveling along the roadway when the driver allegedly lost control of the vehicle, which then overturned. Williams, who was a passenger in the motor truck, was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The driver and another occupant was treated for minor injuries. Haircut probe not complete. After 3 weeks of investigation, the police have still not determined whether one of their own cut the hair of 19-year-old Rastafarian woman Nzinga King at a lockup in Clarendon on July 22. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom, which had also launched a probe into the matter, said that its report will be completed in 2 weeks. After the haircut claim sparked outrage earlier this month, Police Commissioner Anthony Anderson had quickly ordered investigators from the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau to look into the matter. Calls made to iProbe's head, Assistant Commissioner of Police MacArthur Sutherland, to get an update on the investigation were unanswered. However, head of the police's Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, told the news that the investigation was still not completed. Meanwhile, Indicom Commissioner Hugh Faulkner told the news yesterday that the investigation is nearing a close and that the final report should be completed in 14 days. The matter will then be passed to the Director of Public Prosecutions. King's Attorney-at-Law Isaac Buchanan is of the view that the investigation is taking too long. UWI implements COVID vaccination requirement for living on hall. Students who want to live on campus at the University of the West Indies, Mona, will be required to be vaccinated against COVID-19. In a notice issued yesterday, the university said that persons will be required to submit proof of vaccination. For those currently living on hall, these persons have been given until Friday, September 3 to get at least one shot of the 2 doses vaccine to remain in the facility. Individuals who have received their first vaccination shot and are awaiting their second shot will be allowed to remain on hall. The university said students who are hesitant of taking the vaccine will not be permitted to reside in a hall of the residence. However, the Office of Student Services and Development will try to assist such students in identifying alternate accommodation off campus. In such instances, the student will be reimbursed for the unused portion of their residence fees that had already been paid. Students who are unable to take the vaccine for religious or health-related reasons are asked to submit documentation from their religious body or doctor confirming this so that their situation could be considered on a case-by-case basis. Asked whether the timeline was too short for students to find alternative accommodation, Campus Registrar Donovan Stanberry told the news this morning that the university had no other choice but to protect hall residents. He said the last thing the university would want is a COVID-19 cluster on its hands. This is not a vaccination mandate. It's a privilege to live on the halls. People have choices. If you feel strongly, you can make alternative arrangements. It would be irresponsible to have unvaccinated people on the halls, said Stanberry. 605 new COVID cases recorded in Jamaica and 12 deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that 605 new COVID-19 cases and 12 virus-related deaths were recorded across Jamaica on Thursday. This pushed the total number of confirmed cases on the island since the outbreak to 64,899 and the confirmed deaths to 1,465. The new cases comprise 339 females and 266 males with ages ranging from 6 days to 100 years. According to the ministry, 159 of the cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 94 in St. Catherine, 59 in St. James, 49 in Westmoreland, 43 in St. Anne, 40 in St. Thomas, 34 each at Manchester and Trelawney, 32 in St. Elizabeth, 25 in St. Mary, 18 in Hanover, 13 in Clarendon, and 5 in Portland. Meanwhile, 8 of the latest deaths are from St. Elizabeth, including 5 males ages 41, 56, 74, 75, and 76, and 3 females ages 64, 66, and 78. 3 of the victims were from Westmoreland, a 31-year-old female, a 58-year-old male, and a 77-year-old male. The remaining victim was a 48-year-old female from Kingston and St. Andrew. 13 deaths were also reported under investigation. The ministry further reported 50 new recoveries, which pushed the total recoveries to 47,968. There are 15,058 active cases on the island. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.